This is Brianna Moon, Access ID ET6304. I am meeting with Mary and her mother, Miss A, to go over some problems that have been happening at home since her mother has gotten divorced. So how are you guys both doing today?
Good.
Okay.
So I know when we met last week, we were talking about some issues that were going on in the home environment with both yourself and your daughter, Mary. So I just kind of wanted to start things off with seeing how you guys were doing. So, to start with you, Mary, how have things been going at school? I know there were some issues with your grades and homework not being done. Has there been any improvement, or do you think you're still having some trouble?
I'm still having a hard time. It's hard for me to focus at school, and when I get home, I don't ever want to do my homework.
Why don't you want to do your homework at home?
I don't know, laziness, I guess.
Okay. And how about you, Miss A? I know there's been some issues in the discipline areas since the divorce has happened. Is there still issues going on with that, or do you think there's been any kind of improvement?
Yeah, there's still some issues with that. It's kind of hard for me to, discipline my daughter. We're like best friends, so I don't want to be too hard on her. So, yeah, there's still some areas that we gotta work on.
Okay. So, what I would kind of like to do is I want to take a few minutes with us being here before we go into our individual sessions, and I just kind of wanted to talk about some goals that we can come up with, because we haven't had any definite goals about what it is we want to accomplish here in treatment. So, I'm going to start with you, Mary, since your problem, or the problems that we've been discussing, has to do with, surrounding you and kind of around the divorce that's been going on. Your main issue, from what it sounds to me like, is that you've had some problems with homework and with grades. So, what is it that you think you could do that would be a realistic goal that would help improve your grades and homework if you're having problems, or if you notice you're struggling?
Well, I guess I could probably go to tutoring after school. I can ask my teacher for help if there's something I'm not understanding. Maybe I can separate myself and go to a different room and do my homework instead of doing it out in the main living room, and so I'm not distracted by anything, and hopefully that helps.
Okay, good. And what about you, Miss A? What kind of goals do you think you can set that would help Mary making sure her homework and her grades were going as they should?
I think we could schedule it, do the same time every day. So make sure that she's completed her homework, and I've gone through it with her, make sure she understands the homework itself.
Okay, so making sure that there's a routine in place.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And what about goals as far as the discipline area? What is it you think you could do that would improve that area?
That's where I need help. I'm not sure of the best techniques. I don't want to be too harsh on her, because I don't want to ruin what we have. It's a friendship, but I'm her mother too, so I kind of have to put my foot down, and it's where I guess I need some help.
Okay, so a goal could be that you learn some techniques to help you with disciplining.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And what do you think? Is there any goals that you can think of that might help when it comes to being disciplined by her that might help?
Well, I think if I just try a little harder, because I think sometimes I know that we're so close that I can maybe kind of take advantage of her a little bit. So I think maybe if I just try to not do that, then maybe and try to listen to what she has to say instead of just not listening at all, then maybe that would help.
Very good goals. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to kind of assign some homework for you both so we can discuss it next week. What I'd like for you guys to both do is to make a list with your strengths and what you think you could use those strengths for with helping with both the disciplining and with the grades. So as an example of that, you know, I know you're very close with Mary, so your emotional connection and maybe using that to kind of talk about boundaries. I know you still want to stay close to her and you still want, you know, to be close, but, you know, it sounds like what's going on here is there's some boundary issues that are being crossed as far as with the gray line with discipline, you know, being a mother and being a friend. So you can make some goals or a list of strengths and how those strengths could be used to help with the goals that we've just discussed. Okay? Okay, so it looks like time is almost up, so I want to thank you guys both for coming. You know, do you guys have any questions before we end the session?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't have any questions either. I guess when can we meet again is the next question I have.
Yep, so we're going to continue with the individual therapy like we've been doing, as well as the family therapy. So, you know, we'll meet next week at the same time to pick up with the family therapy, and then we'll do our individual sessions as normal. And what I'm going to start doing is once we look at these strengths, I'm going to start putting in some education, some psychoeducation about ways for us to reach these goals. Okay?
Okay.
Alright, well, we'll pick this up again next week then. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.